Okay, so I decided to do a little tour around the garden because it's a lovely day. Well, the sky isn't great, but at least the sun is shining through, it's coming through. I thought it'd be good to just do a record of what is happening on the 1st of June, which is usually quite a nice time of the summer before all the spring flowers disappear. Now I was just going to hone in what I thought was a bee, because I saw a little bee on my windowsill earlier this morning and it looked as though it was really struggling. I felt sad about it. It didn't look healthy. I'm wondering, is there some spraying going on around here? So I hope you can see this is a perpetual wallflower. Keeps going usually the whole year. It's beautiful colour. This is where everything is shoved that probably was in the conservatory all winter. Okay, now I've tidied up this area a good bit. This is a fabulous scented geranium. It gets very insignificant little flowers. Last year it was so big I had to cut it down. And this is a myrtle tree that somebody gave me, and it's doing very well. A little bit lopsided because all the bamboos were crowding it out behind. And this is the Mandevilla I bought a week or so ago. It was quite expensive. It's looking a little bit shook. The flowers are quite washed out, but now that the weather is fine, it should be good. And it seems to have decided to grow because, can you see, it started twining around the bamboo cane, so that's a good thing. And oh yeah, these are my real favourites for now for the sunny weather. Embryonic or ice plant. They come in gorgeous colours in the sun. Pink, white, yellow, sort of orangey. They're stunning. So I have quite a good few of them this year because I planted a pack of seeds, and here's my seagull friend. Go on, hop in and have a swim. He's very funny if he decides to have a swim. Oh yeah, here's more of these ones. Well, I bought lots of these pelargoniums and they're doing quite well too, even though they were put out when the weather was cold. It was a very bad May. Everybody's talking about it. Here's more of the embryonics. They come out in the sunshine and close up in the non-sunshine. And this is another variety. It's a bit pathetic looking. So we'll move around. And this is a big cone I made a couple of days ago. It's the very hard plaster, so I was delighted with that. I'm not sure quite how it will react to being painted. There's your man. Oh, maybe that's the young one. Maybe it is, yeah. Maybe his, I was going to say his foliage, maybe his plumage is changing over. Could be, I'll have to keep an eye on that. So, now, what else? The patio is very mucky because I did that pouring in a big rush, but anyhow, here's my lovely red hot pokers, which make a lovely statement for a few weeks. And down there is the side of the house that I completely neglect. Just a few, I don't know why I never took any interest in it. Along here there's some roses. They're not in the sunniest position, but they usually do quite well. And I have orangey coloured pelargoniums along this side. There is evidence of kids being here because I had a workshop. Oh, that's more than a week now. I still didn't get cleaning the table, but they had real fun when they were here. These are some chestnuts I planted, and Oh God, I don't know what to do with them now. No home for them really. The roses, a bit too early for all those roses. They'll be out in a week or so. And that's, I'm not sure what you call that. And that was the Camellia. It was beautiful when it was out. Oh, I just love all these beautiful irises. The colour of them is so gorgeous. And I have to show you this tiny little rose plant. Look, it's really very small. The poor thing, it's in the wrong spot, and yet it struggles and produces this lovely flower. I think it's called Crown Prince Margareta of Denmark. I grew it from a cutting. Oops. This is doing very well too. And look at this. I'm really astonished by this magnolia, which has been here for years and really did hopelessly. It would produce 2 or 3 straggly little flowers, and it ties in really nicely with this. I'm not sure what this is called. It begins with the letter P. It'll come to me, because maybe because this is just beside everything, which is the pipe, which is filled with basalt, following some sort of round tower instructions. So we'll go along this side of the garden quite quickly, because it's the shady side and there isn't much that grows on it. Obviously hostas do well up until when the slugs get them. There's a small one, more. And this is a comfrey now. This is really surprising, because for some reason I had a little root of comfrey in a pot for a few years, and I said, oh, I'll plant it out, but I never got around. But it must have broken out of the pot, and here it is full size. Nature is wonderful. And I love this Japanese maple. And the size of this big, oh, you know what it is. It blew in from somewhere. I swear it did. I've no recollection of planting it. And then we have these geranium things. I think it's one huge plant. That definitely needs to be made a bit smaller. And here's another maple. It's extraordinary the way when things are doing well, they just come out and out and out. Like for the poor things that are trying to grow underneath that, I don't think they're going to stand much of a chance. It's so dark under there. So I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just chop out the grass a bit further and move them out, because there's some nice plants there. That's a Japanese anemone, and this is quite an unusual little plant. There's not much use, but it is unusual, a little sort of a pea flower, and it doesn't last very long. And so now we come to this pergola, which has given me grief. I had a friend here yesterday, and he was chopping and clipping and snipping, but with totally the wrong equipment. So thanks to advice from my friend, I've ordered a lopper, so we should be able to get rid of most of it if he shows up again. And I don't really want to talk too much about this wild area. Well, might as well. It's dangerous going in here because there's all thorns and everything. A couple of apple trees. And a big elder tree, which would be great. And there's some blackcurrant bushes down there. And I used to have raspberries, but they aren't doing so well now. Oh, look, there's a raspberry where it's not meant to be. And there's more comfrey. I really must chop that down and put it into a bucket and make a fertiliser out of it. And this is all the work that was done recently, clearing things, and they're all in a heap now. I don't know, will I do a sneaky bonfire or try and, what's the word, shred. And here's the lovely chestnut tree, which is doing beautifully. It's great to have the luxury of space to grow trees like that, but other times I feel guilty that I'm not growing veggies. There's loganberries doing quite well, if I can ever get to them. Oh, I just said about those thorns, they just grab you. Ouch. And some nice, the blue. Ouch. Got to be trickling down my leg. Ouch. And this is the area where, when we were tidying it up, there were many little small frogs. The poor things hopping away. I'd say we probably walked on a good few of them while we were at it. Right. I do like these guys. Yeah, easy gardening, just buy a few and pop them in, and then I plant other little seedlings around and hope that they fill up the space. And those are cosmos. I got millions of those. I'll have to find spots for them. Oh, and look at this lovely bird's nest. It came down when we were chopping yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was an old one, because we didn't hear any squawking or giving out by any birds. And there's my tower, which could do with a lick of paint. That's another of my plans, to come out with the spray cans and give them all a spring clean spraying. Oh yes. Oh, here's some strawberry plants. Absolutely hopeless. Nothing at all on them. And here, I hope this shows up. One of my irises. Oh, isn't it so beautiful? And a yew tree in the wrong place. Would love to be getting much bigger, but I have to chop lumps off it every now and then. Oh, and a solitary peony. I've had that for a long time, and the poor thing, every year it just produces one flower. I'd love to give it a bit more, maybe move it, it might do better. Nice yellow ones. Oh, and the roses. This bush came out really well just now. It doesn't have a particularly strong scent, I don't think. Oh, it does. It's gorgeous. It's actually beautiful. And this is one of those poppies that arrive from nowhere. I describe it as an opium poppy. Could be wrong. And here's the original parent of that Princess Margareta. There's two here beside each other that haven't been doing too well. That orange one and this purple one. And they're on a warning. Well, I think the orange one has redeemed itself. It's quite nice. This one, I keep saying, if you don't do something this year, you'll be for the chop. And these ones, oh, this is, I think this is called a robinia. It takes ages for the leaves to come out, but when it does, it's lovely. And I have some Thalictrum doing very well. Some very tall. And this is another really beautifully scented one. And more irises. This pine tree, I've been harvesting some of the leaves off this. I think I can afford to lose some. It's quite big. And up there is the fig tree. All the figs very high, very small, It feeds the blackbirds. I forgot the one around the middle. Cheeky beggar, aren't you? Oh, I nearly forgot the rockery. Very weedy. You see, that's the trouble with here, because I'm by myself. It's impossible to keep up with it. Really is. As soon as you get one area weeded, another one is cut up. Just adore these. More bedding plants. They were looking very dodgy for a while, but I think they're going to come on. Some nice little aqualegia. Lupin's coming on. Small pink plant, and this is nice and big. There's going to be loads of flowers on that, and oh my goodness, look at that. And there's another stalk here. I think they're just stunning. I should have ended up with those as the high point. Those white aqualegias are seeding themselves all over the place, which is really good. More of those lovely dainty irises. I really should look up the name. And is that about it? Oh yeah. I must explain about this big tree. It's a contorted willow. And it's been there for years, but every summer it used to almost die off as though it was suffering from drought. But the last few years it's doing really well, so it's just gorgeous. So I have lots of lovely trees. Oh, I'll show you this one. Oh, I do love maples. Except this isn't a maple, this is a cherry, a Prunus cerula, and you grow that for the lovely bark. This garden always comes as a surprise to people who come here for the first time, because from the front it looks just like, well, it is a regular 3-bed semi, but when you come round the back and see the size of it, so I would go on. You're very cheeky, knocking over my cup. Go on, shoo, 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 shoo. Oh, thanks. You left me a lovely present. Oh, I forgot to turn on my stream, so I couldn't show you that. Okay, so I'll come back again in a month, 5-6 weeks, and see, are there many changes? See, did the small things I planted grow?